Good day. My name is Martin Schweiger and I'm a patent attorney in Singapore. And today is the 2nd of February 2025. This is Sunday. And it's now 1 p.m. more or less. And I'm doing my daily walk, 1 hour, 7,000 steps, or maybe 8 or 9,000. And I'm a powerlifter also, so this is part of my preparation for the Nationals competition on the 22nd of February 2025. So the schedule is out. Saturday morning, 9 a.m. I will be there and lifting. And I need to lose a few kgs by then, but should be possible. You remember on Wednesday, 7 p.m., which is only 4 days ago, I had achieved 104.8 kg. Since Wednesday, I've put on almost 4 kg, 3.8 kg. And that again shows me why I don't think that body weight is a good measurement for success when you want to lose weight in general, especially when you are looking more into the health side, which is the metabolic health and also insulin resistance. I was diagnosed with insulin resistance 1 year ago after 4 months of being idle after an accident and a surgery. And since 1 year ago, I went into that and I wanted to improve it, and this is my entire series is about that. I'm 60 years old since last week, and so I update you. If you also want to lose weight, you can join me. I will give you my insights and give you tips where to look for, and I have 2 things to share today. The first one is I installed a continuous glucose meter earlier this week on Tuesday, I believe, and I have made some valuable insights I will need to share with you. The second one would be, that goes to my friend Mervin. He asked me, right, whom can I trust on the internet? There's so much advice out there, and I will mention 6 or 7 experts, explain why they are relevant when you want to know more. And that will also explain why other experts are not, from my perspective, not good advisors. But I walk you through that. What you hear in the background is there's Sunday in Singapore, and then all the helpers, the maids, and so they're out there and celebrating the Sunday and doing nothing, because this is usually the day off. And so they meet in parks and play music, and it's interesting to see. This is part of the Singapore life. I will just walk by fast, and while I'm walking by, then I tell you a bit where I'm coming from. So now to my continuous glucose meter. Music gets louder, but it's really something. And they're dancing and having fun among themselves. That's part of Singapore life. So, my glucose meter. I'm not wearing that often. Last time before I installed this one, this was more than 6 months ago. and it helped me tremendously to get my blood glucose under control. Because as my TCM doctor says, the diabetes 2 is the easiest to heal because it all depends on what you eat. So if you have diabetes 2 and you're taking insulin, I really would recommend that you look into the issue one more time. What I did is, for preparing for the competition, that means 1 month 0 alcohol. And in my case, what I like is coffee. I can only drink in the morning because afternoon and evening, then I cannot sleep properly and I feel nervous. It's not good. So I have tea. Tastes a bit flat unless it's sour. So what I like is traffic jam. What I like is a sour taste, and sometimes, not often, a beer. Beer for me is, being a born Bavarian, is like a soup. I can drink one when it's cold, but 2 okay, 3 is already too much, and for the 4th or so you need to give me a spoon and then I would slowly eat it from the... I'm joking. So, but it has some taste at least, better than tea and coffee. Juices, I don't drink anymore because of the sugar content. The sugar, since I'm into this fighting diabetes 2, I just leave away all sugary drinks, and the worst I find is fruit juices, because it comes with all the bad ingredients, which is the sugars, even if they're from fruit. Has some good ingredients, which means the vitamins, but all the fibers are removed, which means that the sugar goes immediately to the blood. So I don't drink juices at all, and of course also not those fizzly drinks. The drinks with the bubbles, and let's go here. It's a typical house in Singapore from the old days, from the 70s. So what I did is I tried to find out something with taste and no alcohol. So what I did is I went to the local wine chain outlet, and they had 5 different wines with taste but without alcohol. The alcohol has been removed. Okay, I bought a dark red one and a white one, and then over the past 3 days or 4 I drank the red one. I didn't like very much because it was sweet. The blood sugar meter didn't react a lot. Something like reasonable, went up from 5 point something to 7 point something. So yes, can be done. If you don't drink the entire bottle, then can be done. But then I opened the white bottle, and the taste was not bad. The white wine, it was a Sauvignon Blanc from Australia. The taste was not bad, but then the label said something like 100 grams would have 100 grams of liquid would have 3 grams of sugar in a bottle of 0.7 liters. That gives some 20 grams of sugar, and you could see it immediately. The blood sugar was spiking and coming down, spiking to the 8s or so, into the 8, blood sugar, but coming down fast, so within an hour or so. By the way, for me it always takes some half an hour to 1 hour until after eating, 1 hour 20 minutes after eating, until I see a reaction in the blood sugar. That's a value that you should find out for yourself, because when you don't use a continuous blood glucose meter, then you use those. My camera. This is my gimbal. It would then suddenly start to detect something else. It's like if you're riding motorbike and then you see something interesting along the roadside. I don't say now what. Then you turn your head and don't look in front, and maybe that would cause an accident. It's a bit the same with it, because it has a camera detecting my face, and then wherever I would always try to find my face and put it at the same position, and that would also turn the camera so that you always see me when I'm talking. Anyway, so this Sauvignon Blanc spiked very fast, less than half an hour, and quite a lot, and also came down fast. As I didn't move, I was sitting at my desk watching a video. That means that my body reacted by issuing insulin and driving the blood sugar into my cells in the muscles, thereby reducing the amount of blood sugar. And you could see that in the continuous glucose meter. And then I thought, okay, so this white wine is not good. Then, next thing I did was, I thought, okay, as my blood sugar is down, now I drink a beer, alcohol-free beer, which I still had in my fridge since last year. Was it? Yeah. This is really, I don't like beer in the first place, and this was a horrible taste. So, and what happened is that the blood sugar spiked again, even more than before with this Sauvignon Blanc, and it stayed there at values at 8.9 or something, and then I went to sleep, and the blood sugar didn't come down to 4 point something as before. It stayed at 7 or so. It was very high. And so I investigated further. What was it? And this is, I'm on thin ice, okay? I'm not a metabolic disorder expert from a theory point of view. I'm just a user. And so this is what I found out. First I tried to find out what is in the wine that made my blood sugar spike. And what they do is they add pineapple juice to the wine, so it tastes nicer. I I've seen that before. That in some soft drinks, the fizzly ones, they add pineapple juice because it gives a nice sour, sweet sour taste. So my white wine has this, and as I said, 3 grams sugar per 100 milliliter. That gives on a 20 grams for the entire bottle. And while my body could cope with the initial 20 grams sugar and drive it into my muscles within a very short time, the beer just was an overload of the system. Probably if I do the experiment the other way around, drink first the beer, my body would be the same. First my blood sugar would spike, and then I drink this bottle of alcohol-free wine, the one with the pineapple juice added. Then my blood sugar would go up and stay there. And then my continuous blood glucose meter also shows me that in the morning after I woke up, I had another spike. And I haven't eaten anything. So my morning blood glucose, if taken at the doctor, would be my fasting glucose, and it would be 8.6, which is highly diabetic. Which I'm not, very clearly. All what happened was I have overloaded my body with carbohydrates by drinking alcohol-free beer and alcohol-free wine. And I must really say, no, I will not do this again. Or maybe I look for an alcohol-free wine without those additives. There are some very dry white wines which don't come with sugars, and if you can pull out the alcohol, then you have a very dry white wine without alcohol. And my guess is nobody would buy that except me. So maybe I need to find a way to do that myself at home. And then alcohol I can use for cleaning windows or preparing sprays with essential oil. So we are now 18 minutes into the video. I don't know if you can take a few more information, even if it's half an hour. Let's talk about, this is for Melvin. Let's talk about experts in the field for losing weight, which is ultimately metabolic health. Because it's not just about losing weight. It's about getting a healthy body that would maintain its weight, and also the blood values are constant. At least this is what I want. Melvin said, Martin, there are so many people out there that tell you different things about losing weight. Whom to trust? I said, okay, it sounds familiar to me, because being a patent attorney, I can tell you that there are two ways to look at patents. In very short words, I don't want to diverge into that, but patents can be seen as an asset comes with a value that you can sell, you can put it as a collateral for a loan, you can whatever. And the other side of the coin, see something, the coin always has two sides, is patents as an instrument in competition when you do your business. And there's a deep divide between the two. And there's a deep disconnect. It depends very much where you're coming from. The same divide is between those that see the elevated blood sugar values as an outcome of not enough insulin being in the blood, because it's very clear, if your blood sugar is too high and the body issues insulin into the blood, then the insulin will cause the glucose in the blood, which you measure with your glucose meters, to enter the cells and therefore clean, it's so-called clean, which is wrong inherently, the blood from any blood glucose. And then you get a good measurement value. The other side of the coin is they look at the root cause of the high blood glucose, and the root cause is your food. And once you do that, then giving someone insulin for reducing the blood glucose seems like nonsense, because it's like a lake. I've heard that comparison often. If you have a poisoned lake and all the fish are dying, then what you don't do is you put more poison into the lake in the hope of cleaning it. What you want to do is you take out the poison from the lake. Sounds natural to me, right? But not so for metabolic health experts. There is this divide, right? And the divide continues into cancer treatment. There are some people that say, okay, all the cancer cells that we see, they have a genetic defect. Therefore, cancer is a genetic disease. And the other side is, they say, oh, cancer is a metabolic disease. And only if it progresses a lot, it would even influence the genetic code of the cells involved, and also the components of the cells, namely the mitochondria. Yes, you have waited for that word, right? Mitochondria. Okay. Now, among the zillions of experts on YouTube and in the internet that talk about losing weight, you need to decide, listen to both of them and find out what makes more sense, which theory makes more sense for you. For me, it's very clear. I'm a patent attorney. I'm also a trained engineer and also a motorbike mechanic by training. I don't believe in this insulin giving when you have diabetes 2, because there's only so much insulin that you can give to suppress the impact of the bad food that you have eaten. I've chosen the other way, trying to adapt my food intake such that my blood glucose doesn't spike anymore. And I believe that was good. Now you follow the path, this path. And then you can select all the experts on the internet, because you can sort out those who don't believe in this mechanism. And funny enough, on YouTube, they are the majority, while in practice, they are not. When I say in practice, I talk about doctors, medical doctors. And when you follow further, you would see that the one philosophy allows you to make predictions when you connect the dots, true predictions, while the others don't. In the area of cancer, there's data that shows if you follow the path of those who think that cancer is a genetic disease, they are much less successful than those that try to address mitochondrial health and metabolic health in the first place. I will tell you more about this. There's one name here, Dr. Thomas Seyfried. Sounds like German, but is American. The Americans are German. So, here comes my list of experts. The first one that I want to mention is part of a group that I would call the scientists or the scientific practitioners. And there's Dr. Robert Lustig. You find the names in the description below the video. And Dr. Robert Lustig is a metabolic disease expert. He has written books, given lots of talks, is often on YouTube. What he says is coherent with what others say. Recommended, highly recommended. The next one that I want to mention Singapore on Sunday. There's a waste refusal service, different from other countries. If I go there now, then I would have this guy right in front of me, for my nose, next to me, making noise. So I wait a bit here. Dr. Robert Lustig and Dr. Ford Brewer are only two of many scientists and scientific practitioners that deal with metabolic health on YouTube and in the internet in general. There are more, but I just give you these two as an example. Then we have also practitioners who are not medical doctors, but they practice in areas that overlap with metabolic health. Metabolic health comes not by only eating the right things. You also need to have enough mobility. In other words, you need to move like I do every day, 1 hour, 7,000 or 9,000 steps walking. And another one would be strength training. So there are practitioners that do strength training, but they would also see the impact of the metabolisms of their clients or patients. Among those, I want to name Dr. Sten Ekberg and also Dr. Eric Berg. Dr. Eric Berg is also an athlete. He was in one of the Olympic teams for the US at one point in time. But even more important is Adam J. Story. He's a chiropractor. No. So these people, they get very close contact with their patients. They take enough time to talk with them. They, of course, have insight into metabolism because, I mean, if you can study one thing, then you can also study the other thing. And just because they're not medical doctors, the medical doctors shouldn't look down on them because they have other insights that they don't. So these three, they are practitioners, but in a neighboring area of metabolic medicine. Very valuable people. And then there's a third group. The third group are those practitioners of practice, which means they have this problem for decades. And when it comes to diabetes, I would like to mention one man. He has helped me a lot. And it's Tom Vesely, with a V, the Vesely, and a Y at the end. And he has a YouTube channel called Type 1 Talks. Tom is a diabetic type 1, not type 2, like most of us. He's type 1 because of a defect of the Bauchspeicheldrüse in German. Don't ask me what that is in English. It's the gland that issues insulin into the body. So since very young he has this defect, and he must be very careful to control the blood glucose himself. If it's too low, then he would faint away. Hi. And if it's too high, then it would damage the body. And a high insulin can really cause a lot of damage on medium to long term. I can tell you because I even suffered myself after maybe 1.5 years without knowing, being diabetic. It's not recommended. Tom taught me a lot about the dynamics of the blood glucose. So he taught me a lot about what to eat and what not, what to drink and what not. And if you are diagnosed with diabetes too, I would recommend subscribe to his YouTube channel. So this is the group of those practitioners by practice that suffer from that. And when it comes to weight loss, that also explains my value for you, because I'm fighting my overweight for 40 plus years. I have a few years back sat down and I calculated accumulated weight loss and then later weight gain that I had, and I ended up with some 300 kg over a period of almost 50 years of my life. Oops. Yeah, we are almost through. I have 2 more names on my list. The 2 more names on my list are Dr. Thomas Seyfried. And I believe that he's one of the go-to experts about information for seeing cancer as a metabolic disease. He has also written a book with the same title, Cancer as Metabolic Disease. And if you have cancer, I recommend please read his book. And yeah, the good news is you don't need to die from your cancer now. There's still some time to heal it, even if you have cancer stage 3 and maybe also cancer stage 4. I have seen 2 people being healed from lung cancer and brain cancer, brain tumors, by changing their diet. I found it quite spectacular. That also opened my mind for alternative medicine, and I'm today, when it is about practicing health, I'm today with a traditional Chinese medicine expert with good success. Then I have someone, being a German, I also need to tell you the name of a German. And his name is Dr. Rainer Clement. He's a physicist, and being a physicist and a mechanical engineer, like myself, is pretty much the same, just except that the physicists don't know how to do technical drawings. So, he drew the same conclusions as I. He works as a medical physicist in Schweinfurt, which is a nice little city. And yeah, he's looking also into metabolic aspects of cancer. We have seen, you are on camera, Bruno, be careful what you say. I will put you to my million spectators. So here are my French and my Italian friend.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. Yeah, I'm now here in one of my favorite restaurants in Singapore, and I will have something low carb. And I will eat some low carb, Peppo, low carb, and low carb protein and fiber. Yeah. Enjoy your day. Goodbye.